on the nose reference to COVID. They start infecting the town. The zombie apocalypse has begun.
Yes.
And this is where the body horror comes in. Which...
Shenanigans ensue. Welcome back to Gay Panic, where we review queer books because we quite simply don't read enough of them. And any excuse for us to read more, I guess. We're not in the business of knocking anyone down.
And we're not here to give stars. No.
I mean, I still do online, but not here.
We're not here to give stars. We'll give stars in all the other places.
To give stars.
So Joseph was very excited about all the hate mail we received.
Yes.
What were some of your favorites?
So we received some hate, and I'm here for it. Someone decided to leave a comment that we should die, which is fun.
Is that all it said? You should die? I have not seen this.
No. So the comment was, it was on a video where we were talking about last month's book, Song of Achilles, and we were talking about the death of Patroclus.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment on it was something along the lines of like, you two should try that.
Oh.
I liked the originality of the comment, right?
Yes,
exactly. Because he could have just been like, die, queers. But
it was a very high-hanging fruit, very difficult for that person to figure out that line.
And that means that they watched the video.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So you gave us engagement through the comments, love. And you also watched the video, which means that you gave us engagement through watch time.
Authentic engagement. You actually cared what we said about, and you just said Patroclus. Why are you tripping on, boy? Patroclus.
I don't know.
Bullied me last time.
I keep going back. I go back and forth on it. I did bully you, but it's just muscle memory at this point.
Exactly. Wait, what? Wait, what?
For this month of July, we read Ryan La Sala's The Dead of Summer, which is a YA, I think we've decided body horror.
Yeah, I'll go with it. I am still I read so little horror, and I love Ryan La Sala. I think it's Sala, by the way, but whatever. He can correct us eventually.
He will correct us.
Yes, I can't wait.
If anything, that queen, if he sees this video, the first thing he's going to do is take off his shirt and then tell us how to pronounce his last name.
I'm picturing like Godzilla stomping on things,
I was just like,
name Smackdown.
This muscle queen screaming at us on Instagram.
Yes.
God.
Anywho, I read a lot of Ryan La Sala. I don't read a lot of horror. I always think of it as dark fantasy, but he self-identifies as horror. And hey, we're the LGBTQ community. We're all about how you self-identify.
Self-identification is important.
Body horror is definitely part of it. I also love the cosmic horror elements. And in some of his other books, like Beholder, the last one, there's cosmic horror. And I freaking love cosmic horror. Lovecraft, like creepy powers beyond this world, elements of that here.
Yes. Like there's elements of the supernatural in the definition of the word supernatural being something that is
hella natural.
Above nature as we understand it, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's true.
Like it is natural. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it is natural in the fact that it's like nature, right? They're turning into coral, sure. But it's still supernatural because it's like coral. I know.
It's like it's creepy, but it's fun. It's YA, but it's gay.
I also want to shout out the fact that I got this book at the library.
Me too.
It tickled me that I was able to find a queer YA horror book at the public library.
I mean, this is Silicon Valley. Like they would be.
I know.
They're on the game, obviously.
I'm not saying I was surprised, but I was tickled.
Absolutely.
It was just nice to see.
Yeah. I wished there would be like queer books display for Pride Month. I went to the library, the Los Altos library, and it was like, it was like gardening month or something, which I also love gardening, but I was like, come on, June is Pride Month, people, like get with the program.
As a fellow Los Altos native though, are you in any way surprised that they opted for gardening over gays?
I mean, gardening over gays. ¿Por qué no los dos? Excuse me, my life is gardening and gays in harmony, one and the same. No, Los Altos isn't conservative, even though it's full of old rich white people. Coming out as Republican here would get you ostracized, certainly.
Oh, it certainly would.
When I first read this, I read it on Kindle. And obviously, this book has so much physicality to it. There's like a map at the beginning. Like you want to go back and reread bits at some of the twists and be like, wait, what did they say in this? There's the interview parts, which is like a transcript. It's like so lovingly made. It's like a found document format. And it was
Yeah.
so much fun and such a different experience to read it physically than reading it
I
on
was thinking
Kindle.
that as I was reading it, like, because I actually read the physical book so you wouldn't, bully me about it, and
I wouldn't have. I love Kindle, but I would have been like, "You missed out
no,
because
because
this
the
book is
other option would
made
have
of
been
weird found
audiobook.
shit." No, no,
Yeah,
no. I
see
would
what
have
I
bullied
mean?
you. Would
The
have
bullying.
roasted you like summer vegetables. God. I'm sure
So
the
I actually
audiobook
read
is
it, and
great, Ryan, I'm sure
what
it
I was
cooks, but, like,
thinking
no.
what I was thinking as I was reading it is there are so many important parts of the book that the formatting, like, helps to sell,
There's an
that if
Instagram
you
post.
were
There's a literal Instagram post in
with
the book.
actual people, with actual people.
Yeah, and I
And by that,
do
I mean probably, like, stock images of white girls that they found on the internet,
no,
but
I follow Ryan on Instagram because I've read all his books for several years, and there was, like, a whole BTS bit where he was like, "We're doing a photo shoot for the fake Instagram post in my upcoming novel," and I was just like, "God, this looks like so much fun. This is fabulous." So, all of
they
that
really, like,
is part of
put
it.
their whole foot in it. Like, the book itself is great, it was written really well, I had a lot of fun reading it, but whoever was their interior book designer,
Mhm. Is that what that's called?
good for you. Yes,
It's just so funny how it sounds like interior designer.
interior design,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Love the couches, love the
Well, I
sectionals.
think the technical term is typesetter, but, like,
Mm.
if at that point when you're doing all of this other stuff,
They
like,
did more than typesetting. Let's just
they
say
did
that.
more than just
Give them a
typesetting, they
raise.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't just pick a font and say, "Go for it, kids." Like, they
Yeah,
did stuff.
the whole thing is fun.
But,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I've
I guess we can, like, I guess my first thought about the story itself was I don't read a lot of YA generally.
mhm.
Like, it's just not. I am in my 30s. I'm officially in my mid-30s. I don't read a lot of YA. But what really struck me was how much I had to remind myself that they were kids. Like,
Yes, I'm nodding, but that's not gonna cut it for the pod listeners and not watchers. Hard yes. Continue.
they were making a lot of really foolish decisions, especially early on in the book. It's because they're kids. Like, so
Like,
we
example
we
of
we
the
start.
decisions that made you go, "Oh," which every horror
Yeah.
character makes dreadful decisions, otherwise there wouldn't be a horror book.
We start on the boat. Ollie and his mom are showing up. There's the bachelorette party, which was an insane plot point
Such a great
that
touch.
I
I'm obsessed with it.
absolutely loved. The
But,
maid of honor,
poor
Dakota.
Dakota.
Poor Dakota.
Every time I was
And
just
the
like,
way that he
"This
stitched
joke
that through,
is so."
so gay comedy in
Yes,
such a phenomenal way.
yes.
Only like a petty gay person would be not only make the joke, but also continue the joke
It's
throughout.
like an in-joke, you know, where you're like, "Only I can make
Yes.
fun of my fellow in-joke or in-group members." It was like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, we're gonna have some because we're the gays, we're gonna have some roasting of our sisters, the thoughts." And just
Yes.
put them on fire in a
And like,
way that worked so well.
truly only gay men understand the complicated relationship that the queer community has with bachelorettes.
Yeah, like, if this was a straight male lens, it would be, like, misogynistic, and it wasn't misogynistic, it was just like, "But let's roast these bitches." You know,
Yes.
as this element, this, like, dark comedy element that fits into the horror hijinks. God,
Because, like, for any bachelorettes out there, of which I'm sure there are tens of you who may discover this video at some point,
to be specific.
if you choose to spend your bachelorette weekend party in a queer space, go for it. We'll take your money. I'm not mad about that. Just don't be annoying.
Yeah, but bachelorette parties are to be annoying, as are bachelor parties, so,
I
you know,
Yes.
I mean
I mean, what did you didn't do a bachelor
no, we
party,
didn't do
right? You
shit, we
didn't.
didn't do shit.
No, you got married in
We
a.
just got married in 3 months because of
Yeah,
not the 90-day fiancé visa, and then we
because
were like
yeah, you had to.
but then we were like, "But we're having a party and we're inviting everyone. Make it
Because
here in
my
3
bachelor
months."
weekend is not gonna be anything crazy. We're getting a cabin in the woods probably.
That's
Like,
gonna be
I'm
sick.
not. Yeah, I mean, the plan is to, like, show up with as many people as I can fit in this house, with a pile of books and board games and
Stop it. You're
frozen
so
pizzas,
cottagecore.
and just, like, hang out in the woods with my friends for as long as I can kidnap them for. Like, that's my plan.
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna take a boat to an island.
you also have, like, years to plan your wedding, so you're able to include elements like the bachelor party, like, I would certainly
That's
have loved
true.
to do something like that, but who cares, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also, you know, definitely grew up dreaming of a wedding, didn't grow up dreaming, like, I need this bachelor party, like, I'm not gonna lose sleep about it on my
Well, I know
deathbed.
you grew up dreaming of a wedding. At some point, we're gonna have to talk about that article,
I know we
potentially.
are. I know we are. Spoilers for the next, not spoilers,
The lore
foreshadowing for the next episode. More lore to come.
Lore that y'all don't even know is on its
Mm-mm.
way. My
But
God, I
we're
found it.
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I have so many memories, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. We're gay
No,
friends since
so they
childhood. We have lore. We have all kinds of dramatic
so
lore.
much lore.
Mm.
I can't wait till like episode, 20 or whatever, where people start like actually stitching together the timeline of our friendship and like trying to figure out like what's going on. It's great.
Yes.
No, so they're on this boat. We meet Ollie and his mom, who is wearing a wig, and that's a big deal because she had cancer, and so she's like, "I'm going to put on blue wig and be Katy Perry." Great. She's decided that she no longer wants to be mom. She wants to go by her first name, which crazy, but sure, live your life. I guess you
Yeah,
beat
she's
cancer.
being weird.
Congrats.
Basically, she's being
Yeah,
weird, and Ollie doesn't like it.
we're getting to the point where I had to remind myself that they were children.
Yes, when they made bad decisions, but okay.
I feel as though Ollie made a very bad choice.
What was it?
He's a child and children make bad decisions. So do adults, but like this was uniquely crazy. So we meet Sam. Sam is the mysterious rich kid who says the rich kid thing where he's like, I'm not rich, my parents are, which is a thing that only rich kids say.
Yeah.
Which
So
again,
well choreographed.
as a Los Altos native, is a line that I have heard
We've heard it. We know all
nauseum.
about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's what we grew up with. Like, no, I no, my parents are wealthy. I'm not. Like,
Or
okay,
like in
sure.
in Crazy Rich Asians where he's like, we're comfortable.
Yeah, we're comfortable.
He
Which is
basically
only
says
something
that.
that insanely rich people say.
Exactly.
And Ollie is like over the moon about this guy, which
Well, sort of.
I
I
don't
wouldn't say
know.
over the moon. He's just like, he's the page one crush. It starts with like this boy enters. We think he likes
Yeah.
Ollie. He's cute. He's a visitor, obvious. And already we're like deep in the dynamics of tourist towns, which is another thing I love about this book because my career outside of this podcast is in tourism. I love
Yeah.
traveling and like paying attention to senses of place. And when you're a
Yeah.
local in the tourist town, you are a VIP in a certain way, but you also have this like envy relationship with like
Mhm.
the rich kind of gentrifiers who also run your town. Like tourist places have this weird dynamic where the visitors are like jealous of the locals and the
Yeah.
locals are like jealous of the visitors, but neither of them will admit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love how that
No,
dynamic
totally.
is like present in this crush from page one.
Yeah. It struck me too, the dynamic with the town of this idea with the tourists that they understand the necessity to have the tourists in the town because it's how they make their money, but they're also annoyed that they have to do it.
Yeah,
Which I
which
thought
is
was funny.
so universal to, again, like this vibe in over touristed places. Sunny, cute vacation ennui, where it's like one trick horse of an economy. Santa Cruz, where we went to college, is totally like
Yeah.
this. They're like, those tards from San Jose are just showing up and like making out in the disgusting water at the river mouth and doing God knows what. And,
My
but they
God.
need us. And like the places where I worked when I was a full-time guide in my 20s, like Croatia, this is a huge dynamic. They just came
Yeah.
out of wars and socialism like 30 years ago. And they're like, yes, we want to be seen as Western, but also, holy shit, who are you people? I'm just like obsessed that all of that is woven into this book in the form of this specific form, which is like this gay resort town.
I remember like living and working in Santa Cruz during the summers and just hating it. So we know that there's drama with the Suds, which is Ollie, Bash, and
Elisa.
Elisa.
Yes.
Is it Elisa?
There's a line about it.
Okay.
Like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So they're having drama, and we know that his family doesn't know about the drama because they keep asking, like, where are your friends? So they go back to the house that him and his mom own, like an inn.
It's like a B&B.
It's like a B&B, but
They're
it's
like
also
an
kind of
inn,
like a
yeah.
Western saloon.
Why a Western saloon? Because they have a piano?
The way it was described was like a big open room with the piano and then like a mezzanine. And so in my head, I was imagining like a Western style, like brothel.
What brothel has a mezzanine? What is happening here?
Have you never seen like a Western?
You mean like the mezzanine on top? That's like the second story place where they're like,
Yeah. So you have like the bar and the tables with like poker, and then there's the staircase that always goes up to the second
mezzanine
floor.
inside. Yes. That's totally true. Because when I was picturing Anchor's Mercy, I was picturing like Martha's Vineyard. So I was picturing like,
which I think is the vibe.
The house. Well, technically, I think it's based on Providence Town, P-Town, which is like the gay resort of the East Coast.
It's either P-Town or it's Fire Island, but yes.
Yeah, I can picture an East Coast beach house, and it looks kind of like the house in Practical Magic. I'm picturing like this big wooden house, like painted white with like a big porch that goes the whole
Yeah.
way around. I did live in the South, so I can picture a East Coast porch and like white, like lots of windows. Maybe there are shingles involved. Like they love shingles
Mhm.
out there. They love a shingle.
I am
Let's not go
curious. I
there.
I do feel like at some point there's gonna be a movie made of this book, and I am
I
curious to
hope
see what
so. They're making a
what
movie of
they
his
do.
his first like big hit, and I hope
Yeah, so
this one
hopefully they're just
follows.
making their way through it.
Yeah, although it would be really hard to film because of the epistolary, like, found document situation. Like, there's a reveal at the end of who somebody actually was that's very coho.
It's
And
true.
if you were filming that, like, you'd be cooked from page one, you know?
So they go to the house, and it's Ollie and the adults, which includes the drag queen.
The drag queen is Wendy Pretendy.
Wendy Pretendy
Yep.
is a
Love it.
crazy drag name.
But it's such a good drag name. I mean, it's kind of a wholesome drag name. It's good for this
It
book.
is. It's like a kitschy
very
drag name.
Yeah, it's kitschy,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like this like, Anger's Mercy is like this gay utopia that I think
Yeah.
is, aspirational maybe in the way that Heated Rivalry has famously become aspirational about, like, optimism about masculinity and certain things. It's like, it's this
Yeah.
wonderful gay town, and the kids feel so safe around the drag queens and, like, grew up with this, and
Yeah.
man, if this exists on the East Coast, good on 'em, we should head over there. There's also this element of, like, this is what this could be, and this is what this feels like to the people who it's for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people weren't so, like, up their ass about
Yeah,
gay things,
and if yeah,
which
exactly.
pun not intended. There is a fight that happens between mother
Ol
and child.
Ollie and his mom, and the dynamic between them is she survived cancer, but Ollie, like, gave up
Yeah.
his whole group of friends to, support her during her treatment, and he kind of feels like he's still grieving about it, and his mom is kinda like already sounds like she was kind of a psycho before and was just,
Yeah.
like, this force of nature, like, big, potentially obnoxious, but, like, lovable personality, and now
Yeah.
she's, like, kind of on the toxic positivity train, and he's like, "I feel like I can't talk to her about the ways I wanna grieve," and so they fight about that. There's this amazing interiority to, like, all of Ryan La Sala's characters, like, the ways
Mhm.
that you're in their head, the ways that they second guess themselves or think about what they're gonna say next, like, tell you so much about what they're actually afraid of or what where they're actually at that they themselves don't know. So, like, this about Ollie from the very beginning. Like, he's in this
Mhm.
situation where he wants to grieve and he's not being allowed to do that, but he doesn't really know this about himself. I feel like she's driving me crazy, like any teenager. So, really
Yeah.
cool dynamic there of like, we know what he's going through, but he doesn't, and they fight about it
Yeah.
and whatever.
And I think that was probably the first instance of I had to remind myself that this is a child.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Like,
very teenage.
fighting without actually saying anything to each other, which I think was the part that was the most, like, grounded to me about this fight, is that, like, they go from one moment having this nice, like, we're playing the piano together, to all of a sudden he just, like, rage spills over. I don't get pissed off at people very easily, but when I do, it's a hard switch. Like, I can go from 0 to 60, like, chillin' to mad,
Yeah.
like no one's business. I mean, to be fair, my general reaction when someone pisses me off is to just completely ignore them and
Mm.
just stonewall them.
Which is certainly good. But
Because,
was it like that when you were a teenager? Maybe sometimes.
but I
Yeah.
think the thing that I related to was how quickly his personality changed.
Yeah. It's a well written teenager, you know?
Yeah. We find our first instance of the aquarium, which was called out
Uh-huh.
during the fight. And then he goes to bed fuming mad, and then the adults continue the party downstairs.
An aquarium, which is like a home fish tank in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's growing coral
Exactly.
that
Yay.
he finds.
Yay.
And the party continues downstairs, and he's being sad boy about it. And
Okay. So
yeah.
they
Okay,
fight.
so that happens.
It's the next day. They still haven't talked. He reunites
Yeah.
with their friends, the
Well,
Suds.
before he reunites with their friends, he runs into his aunt, who tries to attack him.
This was the bad decision. This was the one
This
that
was
you're
the
talking
bad
about.
decision. This fight happens. His aunt attacks him with, like, a piece of glass, and he bodies her into a closet, shuts it, and locks it. Goes to the cops and is like, doesn't mention the fact that his aunt attacked him. Doesn't mention the fact that he was almost, like, grievously injured. All he says was she was, like, sweaty and sticky. And the cops are like, she probably just has to sleep it off. Don't worry about it. And he goes, okay.
That was a very teenager moment, and I was so frustrated reading that too. I was like, "She was sticky, like, that's what you're gonna tell them?" But I mean,
That's your lead? That's what
but
you're going with?
it's also
Like,
though,
come
like,
on.
it's such a horror and fantasy trope. We are reading this, and we know that we're about to read about a zombie apocalypse. If you were in a
Yes.
zombie apocalypse, how long would you justify? How long would you be like, "Oh my god, like, that person is, like, a homeless guy with leprosy, and that was gnarly." Like, I don't know, but if I call the cops, like, they'll just break up the encampment. I'm just gonna let it go. Like, it was a zombie. You know what I mean?
But
Like, if you're not in a
it was
fantasy
so
book,
much further than that.
this
Like,
I mean,
she was
yeah.
clearly unwell. Let's take out the fact that she attacked him
She
with
was
a
certainly
weapon.
unwell. She was unwell.
She was, like, dripping ooze. You wouldn't go to a doctor?
I mean,
Like, he gives up and he gives up trying to help her. It's not like he is attacked
that's
and the
true.
police won't do anything about it,
That's true. He's
and
just
so
like,
he's
"So
just
I
like,
left her in the closet.
yeah,
I needed to lock her in the closet." That's how bad this was. So once you factor in that he's a teenager, I can certainly understand his actions. To some extent, when you're 17, like, you don't have enough understanding of alcohol to be like, "There's no way that anything about a bender explains this." You know?
yeah.
Even if you have experience with that, that's, like, something that you think when you're 17.
It was me just trying to justify his actions because, like, he is attacked, tells the police, they're like, "Go away, child," and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna go work at the pizza place."
Yeah. I think that's a very teenager choice. Like, we were great at compartmentalizing. We still are, but teenagers really
Still
are.
are.
And I think I actually, something you said at the very beginning that you rarely read YA. I am one of the adults that reads YA sometimes. I loved YA as a kid, and I still, like, obviously certain ones are like too childish, but I
Yeah,
still love YA, like Ryan La Sala writes. It's almost like it's new adult that can't call itself new adult because new adult is dead, so they just age the characters down. You know? It's like there's
yeah,
some YA out there that's so juicy and meaty, and I think I blame the
yeah.
publishing industry for this. The industry is very draconian about those things, and
Mhm.
it just is like kind of runs on joy and is fast paced, you know? And there is this phenomenon that people in the industry talk about where like a lot of adults are like reading YA and keeping the YA genre afloat. And people are
Yeah.
like, why is this? Are able to flourish. Some other Ryan La Sala books are very much like you took a new adult book and you were just like, by the way, they're 17 and three quarters, you know? And I'm
Yes.
like, fabulous. I read it and I loved it and I don't care what age they are. But this book, I think every book of his gets better and better, and in this book, like, they're precocious teenagers. They're totally precocious teenagers, and I love that.
What it makes me think of is, something that we've talked about a few times now where, gay literature can be anything. It sort of strikes me that YA can really be anything as long as the children are children.
Yeah, and like I've said about fantasy, like, you get a
Yeah.
pass. When it's YA, you can be like, "This is a fantasy cosmic horror that's actually, like, about 3 gay best friends, and it isn't actually
Mhm.
about a beach town." Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Because these characters could have very easily been aged up to like 23, 24, and it
Yeah.
would have just been like a fierce adult horror book. Like, I don't think, besides some of their decision making, I don't think them being teenagers drove anything with the plot per
Yeah,
se.
yes and no. The dynamic between Ollie and his mom, it could
Yeah.
have worked as, as a young 20-year-old, like, you still have that relationship with your parents where if you lose a parent, it's gonna be intense like that, but I
Yeah.
think their group of friends is very high school coded, and I love the dynamic between Ollie and his mom. The way it ends, with their farewell, whatever, we're gonna
Yeah.
spoil this by the end anyway, but let's
Yeah.
just hop around so you guys don't have to wait excruciatingly page by page. Like,
Yeah.
this is somebody who raised him, and like it's about cancer and it's about disease, which is so tied into the zombie apocalypse genre.
Yeah.
And I think like losing a parent when you're a kid um is like very specific. So that is one thing that I will give that credit where it's due.
It, like, speaks to the strength of the story and I think the originality of the story. I've read similar books in that, like, the idea of the timeline hopping isn't new, right?
Of
And,
course.
like, the disaster story isn't new, but the setting I thought was really interesting, and maybe I just, again, don't read enough queer literature to know the tropes. Maybe that's part of
Well,
it.
they're not powerful enough tropes. I mean, well, this has a lot of tropes here
Yeah.
that aren't queer tropes, first of all. I mean, it has a lot of zombie apocalypse tropes, nature, disaster, Last of Us kind of tropes.
Yeah.
It has tourist town tropes, which I adore, and the timeline switching. Rick and Morty and Everything Everywhere All at Once is so hot these days. By timeline switching,
Yeah.
you mean like hopping around like different points of the story. There are no
Yeah,
alternate
I mean,
realities in this book
so
yet. What the hell
we
is
haven't
book 2
really
gonna bring?
oh my god. We haven't really talked about it yet, but the story is told in 2 different timelines. You have Ollie's timeline where it starts 2 days before the outbreak, and then you have the researcher's timeline where it's him interviewing Ollie,
Him or her. We don't
him
know
or her, we
the
don't
gender
know.
of queerant, and I have a lot of
Queerant too.
theories. We have to get to this.
So it's told through that, which is this researcher interviewing Ollie on the ship that is the Navy hospital ship that is there to help the people, but it was also there a couple days before the outbreak. So, ooh, who
Help. Again,
knows?
and that's another trope of like the sinister government involved in the outbreak trope.
So he goes and works at this pizza place where we meet Bash and Elisa for the first time, and they have some kind of beef. We don't know what kind of beef, but there is beef,
There's beef.
and
Not on the pizza.
they very quickly get over it. And they're like, we need to work as a team in order to keep the pizza shop open, I guess.
It's kind of hokey, but teenagers. I think it's another teenage thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or do you think teenagers would hold a grudge for longer? A year is a
I
long
held a
time when you're
grudge.
17.
I held a grudge when I was a teenager. I was really
Yeah.
good at it. I
I
was great
mean,
at holding a grudge.
a lot of us gays are.
But I also think that maybe this is what factors into the small town of it all. Like, they don't have many options when it comes to friends. So maybe you do just sort of get over it fast. Like,
Yeah.
they grew up together since they were infants.
Yeah.
They went to school together their entire lives. Also, they might be teenagers, but they're not totally devoid of empathy. I'm sure that they understand that, like, his mom was dying.
Yeah, and they get to it eventually. They talk through it. They're still beefing, but they're kind of in a truce. Great. They go to Sam's beach house. There's this whole dynamic where like Sam kind of ingratiates himself with the group and they like him, we like him, but then we realize through the interviews as well in this other
Yeah.
timeline that Ollie and Bash have a thing. So now there's this like love
Yes.
triangle kind of happening, very subtle, but
Which
there's a dynamic there.
there is a piece of this that I thought was particularly funny, which is the inclusion of the idea of boyfriend twins, because it is said
Yes, that's
it is
so
said
true.
multiple times that they look similar enough to each other that the townspeople would confuse them. And for those of you who don't know, there is a phenomenon in the queer community called boyfriend twins. And it is when 2 gay men are together and they look like doppelgangers of each other.
Their looks meld into one, their fashion,
Yes.
they both go to Turkey, they get
They're
stuff
both
done,
5'11".
they
They're
have the
both
same
very
workout
tan.
routine, and
Yes.
they become they look like the same person.
Yeah. I mean, we can't relate. We
No,
are with
neither of us can
partners
relate.
who look very different from each other.
Should we just
But
briefly paint a picture to the listeners? Prove them
I
that we're
mean,
not boyfriend twins.
everyone knows that your husband is Venezuelan.
He's a
And you
Venezuelan
are
with a fro.
Yeah, with a
and is
fro
very
and
brown.
shoulder muscles the size of my head.
That's true as well. That's true as well.
But Alejandro looks like he can't go through a door.
It's
Like,
on another level. I'm sure there are doors in some countries where he could not.
Japan,
And
probably.
meanwhile, Joseph's fiance,
Yeah,
by the
my
way.
partner
Woo!
is Cambodian.
So, no boyfriend twins here. Not in this
No boyfriend
podcast.
twins.
No siree.
And it's so funny to me that they mentioned this, because I was like, only a gay man is going to, like, I don't even know if Ryan meant it that way.
I hope he did, because there's so many gay tropes in this book. There's so many fun gay tropes, and he always, in all his books, plays with gay tropes and like brings them into the tropes of other genres. And so, like, when this book was going to come out, one of the like, blurbs was like, and there's a drag queen story hour at the apocalypse, the drag queen story hour at the end of the world. So then it's like, wait, the gay boyfriend twins that actually switch places and cause a major plot point by being boyfriend twins. That cannot
funny.
be by accident, because that is good,
No.
and I didn't notice.
No, they've exchanged other things.
Yes,
And
but it's YA, so we won't say what.
No, it's a children's book.
Mm.
So they're at the house. Sam is being a host. Great. They're underage drinking. Hilarious. They go into a hot tub. And Ollie and Alicia have a fight. Or Elisa have a
Elisa, you
fight.
just read. The
I can't.
silent patient. So you said
Can't
Alicia.
stop. I know.
I
That's
love
what it
that
is.
so much.
God damn it. So they have a fight where that goes from 0 to 60 in 0.25 seconds. They're like having a nice moment. And then he says, he doesn't even say anything of like, well, your mom's dead. He mentions the fact that there might be information that could explain why everybody in this town gets sick. And she loses her mind.
Mhm.
So that's crazy to me, personally.
Yeah, I
I
mean, teenagers yeah, teenagers.
I thought his reaction of 0 to 60 sort of made sense. I thought her reaction of 0 to 60, I was like, "Okay, girl,
Yeah.
pump the brakes a little bit." I did not understand why she got so mad, but she did, and that's fine. She goes off and they all sort of separate for the night, right? So the next day they wake up and
The zombie
zombie
apocalypse breaks
apocalypse
out.
breaks out.
People with coral growing from their heads burst
Yeah,
out of this bar where they refused to let the bar kick them out and created a super spreader event of zombie coral. And they
yeah,
start infecting the town. The zombie apocalypse has begun. And
yes,
this is where the body
and
horror comes in. Briefly, before we talk about the coral and the body horror, because this is fun and this is like a major, I will say, set piece, if not plot point of the
yeah,
book. There's a little bit of conspiracy stuff and clues about how like people on the island get sick. That's
mhm,
woven into the fact that Ollie's mom got cancer, and
yeah,
Elisa's mom was like the scientist that tried to prove that there was a big conspiracy behind it, and the whole town shunned her. And then she apparently died, but now she, by the end, you think maybe she's alive. Uh, but I that's another trope that I just want to throw out there that I really appreciate how this is woven into. And Elisa's breakdown beef with Ollie in this moment is part of this build to this like conspiracy
mhm,
theory trope. And it's like, again, so timely to our world. If this is a COVID parallel and you have to look at yourself as a reader of horror or fantasy or whatever, or just a reader, somebody with an
mhm,
imagination, everybody who had a head on their shoulders would be like, stop saying it's a zombie apocalypse. Like, that's racist to say that it started in whatever country it started in. And this is stupid. Like, there's real science that is not about zombies, that this is an insult to. And that's basically what Elisa's rant is, which is really about
yeah,
her mom.
yeah,
But I just think that's so fun that we get to see her say some really wonderful points that, like, a kid who's had to grow up too soon, that's how she would think about disease and be like, it's not a conspiracy. It's because we don't have enough resources. And she's like a social justice warrior, and everything she says is right. But yes, and it turns out that she's wrong. It was the zombie apocalypse, and they have to reconcile later about it. But like, to weave that in, I just think it's so cool. Like, those are some shades of gray in there.
helps layer her a little bit too,
Yeah, and she's
where
smart. She's
she
like the Hermione of
yeah.
the group, if you
Oh
will.
my god, for sure. There's that great clip, what's her name? Jinx Monsoon,
It
where
gets better the more I think about it.
they're
Continue.
talking about, like, would JK Rowling be good in it was like a queer role as like a joke question in an interview. And Jinx Monsoon was like, I don't know who this JK person is. I know her by the name she was born with, Joanne. Jinx was like, I understand that, it would make sense for Joanne to go by JK in her industry because that's how she wants to identify so that she can be perceived a certain way. But that wasn't the name she was born with. So I'm going to choose to use Joanne. And I was like, oof, hilarious and incredible. Good for you. So
10 out of 10, no notes.
10 out
So
of 10.
anyway, the coral zombie apocalypse. Describe
Yes.
this to us.
So the idea is that you drown. So you're infected with this coral, and it causes the liquid in your body to congeal like an Orbeez, and it turns your blood to
Like a
Jello,
what?
like an Orbeez. Those little like plastic balls that inflate with water, and they're full of like gel
Oh,
material.
I remember those. You just unlocked
Yeah,
such a deep memory. And they are
you're
full of gel.
welcome.
And you make the gel, you mix it.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sure Ryan was thinking of this. I mean,
that's how I pictured it.
I feel like
And so
he's
you
dialed into
drown
the craft world. This had to have been like mixed on the table in part of this
for
process.
sure.
Ugh,
You drown in this gelatinous ooze, and it
or Orbeez fluid.
turns you and the Orbeez fluid, and the coral takes over your brain, and you also start turning into coral.
Eventually, coral starts growing on you. It's giving Pirates of the Caribbean 2,
Yes,
where Davy Jones's crew has this like shit growing on them, but it
the
like takes over
barnacles.
your brain and you're a zombie. So
Yeah,
sorry,
you're
that's it.
you're one of the Volte from Dungeon Crawler Carl, little worm growing in your brain.
Well, yes, you are.
And
Oh, I always said
so,
Valte to myself, but you probably listened to the audiobook. So
no, I read the actual book. You
But the audiobooks are famously good for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Everybody talks them
No,
up.
remember?
I know you
I read
have
the
it,
actual
but
books.
you would have it and also listen to it and also have it and
There
also
are
get it from the
so many
library. You would.
books that I own that I listened to the audiobook and
Right?
count it
Tell
as
me you
read and put
wouldn't.
it in my read bookshelf. When you read 100 books a year, you got to just do what you need to do to survive.
By the way, Matt
So
Dinniman, in the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book, we want a gay as hell new character so we can do it on this pod. Because
I
I'm
would
dying
love.
to, but
I would love.
bring it on, please.
So
We're missing it.
zombie apocalypse, everyone's being taken over by coral. Stuff happens, but what I want to fast forward to is when they are eventually taken into the library.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, this is fun.
Because that's sort of where the whole thing starts to turn. So it's being run by Wendy Pretendi, who is in drag the entire time, which I love the commitment to the bit.
I think she switches back and forth, but then I'm also like, where did she like bring buckets of mascara while fleeing the apocalypse? Were they in her pockets? Does she have cargo pants? I mean, he probably.
I don't want to criticize
Willie,
the
had the cargo pants.
construction of the story all that much. However, considering the fact that you're in a zombie apocalypse, this woman puts on, what, 2 hours worth of makeup every day?
It's very impressive. It's also like, is that pared down makeup? Maybe it's just like a wig and that's all she wrote. A wig and some stick.
Yeah, she's out there looking like the dad from The Birdcage at the end, being snuck out.
Like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire when he hasn't become Mrs. Doubtfire yet.
Yes.
Make me a woman. I've been waiting for this day my whole life.
Okay, so they're put in quarantine before they can join Gen Pop. And then they're put in Gen Pop and they're fighting with the scientist lady who's clearly the villain.
I love her. Great villain. Imogen Pfaff. This is like a Roald Dahl ass name, Imogen Pfaff.
She is President Coin from Hunger Games.
But she's like the scientist too. So she's like,
but she's that vibe of like, I'm just here to help you guys, but in reality, I want power.
Well, she's like that one, the doctor from Stranger Things and the scientist from E.T. This is again, and it's also very 80s movies tropes,
Yeah.
Like I said, like, don't need the gay tropes for this to be full of tropes, to have it be like this adorable group of like misfit kids up against like evil scientists and extreme horror, as we know, and Stranger Things, which we love, brought back. Like, those 80s movies were gnarly. And they were not afraid to make it actual horror with the chillins. So that's what we have here. Imogen Pfaff. She has a mysterious red notebook. She is taking notes. She's trying to get Ollie to spy on people and narc and gives him a tape recorder.
He's Golden Boy. He won't do it.
Exactly.
He's would you say sad little artistic gay boy?
Did I said that in a past episode, didn't I?
That's how you described Patrocles, which I feel like this is the same vibe.
Also, when we're talking about villains, there's a brief previous like containment sort of Lord of the Flies bit in this the Maritime Museum or something with the gay lawyers who are all called Justin, and that's a wonderful trope that he brings in.
Oh my god,
they're the real villains here. I hated them so much. Flames on the side of my face.
Flames
hated them.
Flames on the side of my face.
It was giving.
The funny part is that I have like city gay friends.
Are they called Justin?
One of them is.
Is he a lawyer?
I don't think so.
This is Silicon Valley, though. So, like, they do something that nobody understands or cares about and are rich.
Yeah, which is what all of us do.
That's how the tech industry works. If you're not in it, you do not care about it and will never. People will start talking about it and you'll try to pay attention and it'll be like, so I work with.
Yeah, it's the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Version 2.0. And you're like, shit. You're just rich. You're techie. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Have fun in your penthouse apartment and living your life.
Exactly.
So they're at the Maritime Museum with the Justins. They get kicked out of the Maritime Museum and they flee to the library where Wendy and Dr. Pfaff are waiting for them. And the part about this segment that bothered me, and maybe I'm just crazy, was when they leave the library to go to the bar. Did none of the adults think to do this? Like, I don't understand why it was up to the children to make this happen.
Yeah, now that you say it, I don't know either. I mean, I guess the adults were being like more cautious. They were like, it's too dangerous and help is coming. All the scare quotes. That's what I got from them.
But they even talk about the fact that like they need a working radio. Like that's what inspires the kids to go get it, is that they talk about like, oh, well, the adults say like if we could get a radio to call out for help. And I'm like,
adults, I think the adults never, ever, ever go outside. Nobody knows that Willie is sneaking out back to, give food to infected, is like hidden in a storage container. So
Which
they
was
think that
such a
like the doors are
crazy detail.
completely sealed. There's this 3-day quarantine situation. It's like an apocalypse. It is an apocalypse
Yeah.
trope. Like you're trying to govern, and now it's like, oh shit, who's going to be the leader? Oh shit, we all have to agree. If there's 20 adults in the room and they all think you really need to listen to what I think, they end up paralyzed.
I could see that for at least like the town members that are there who are being annoying. Like
Very annoying, extremely
the
annoying
other
people
yeah,
in this
the
book,
other town members. What
as they
surprised
probably
me
are
was
in real
that
life.
like Willie, who believes in like the goodness of the zombies, as evidenced by him like taking care of patient zero, he also owns that bar. So this is where I got really pissed off
He
at
was
Willie.
busy, Joseph, he was busy grabbing his mascara. He was busy, he
I
needed
that's what I'm
eyeliner,
saying.
he needed
You're putting on full
foundation,
face every
full
day,
cat
but you
eye.
couldn't go down to the bar and get your radio to.
He needed the fishnet gloves. He did not have time to grab the radio. Like he
Meanwhile, the
has
kids
one
go get
job
the
to do.
radio, and spoiler alert, Sam dies.
But is he dead?
No, he's not dead.
He
He's
did
for
not
sure
die
not
on
dead.
page. If you
No,
didn't die on
he's
page, you're coming back. And there's a
yeah, and
second
there's a
book,
sequel.
you're coming back.
Yeah,
Sam is
he's coming back in
0%
Bodies of
dead.
Water. It's happening, and
Do we
if he
think
doesn't
he's
come,
a weeper? Because Ollie at the end is transformed into a weeper, and we think that in Bodies of Water he's going to be like a sea. It's going to be like the Shape of Water.
yeah. My theory is that Sam is infected, but part of book 2 is finding the cure, and that he's like brought back. But I'm also curious to see the Bash Ollie storyline to see if maybe there's something there that becomes a thing.
I feel like I kind of want Bash to end up with Ollie because, like, first love, like, since they were
Yeah.
kids, maybe he's going to have a more dramatic death later, or he's just going to survive and have, like, a honorable farewell to the island.
Or maybe like he's infected, but it has like consciousness to him. So maybe at some point in book 2, he saves them.
And Ollie has been infected at the end of the book. We
Yeah.
believe because the synopsis for book 2 says Ollie Veltman wakes up chained to the bottom of a pool, and now he has
Yeah.
to save Anchor's mercy. He's obviously some kind of infected, but still has himself. Maybe he's going to be able to like feel Sam's presence in the like hive mind of the coral.
There's got to be something like Stranger Things adjacent, right? Like that's the whole hive mind bit. I feel like we're going to get into this sort of, 11 tapping into the hive mind of the Upside Down. I feel like is where this is
and this
headed.
is something that Ryan La Sala has done. It something slightly similar in a previous book, different. That's maybe why I'm guessing this. Maybe it won't quite go this direction. And but all of his books that have a cosmic horror element, which, like I said, I love, has this like otherworldly presence. That another one in The Honeys is sort of a hive mind situation where a character gets a final chance to say farewell to somebody who has been unalived, because she is like present in the hive mind, and it's really cool. I imagine it won't be the same, but I'm like, okay, maybe there'll be an element to this because they have to bring Sam back somehow. You can't
They have
just
to.
kill him off page. It's do you think Willie's dead, right? Wendy Pretendy, like,
Well, yeah, for sure.
Willie's dead, for real.
They're in the library and the whole zombie breakout happens.
The zombies break in. Imogen Pfaff is evil.
Fall.
She rescues
Imogen Pfaff is
everyone
evil.
and
Yeah.
brings them to like prison containment on like the
And
sinister
in
ship.
that attack on the library, we find out that Ollie is Willie's son, which all of us knew from the beginning, I feel.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm a loser.
Again, I am out here calling it from the start.
I know.
Yeah, I totally thought, I was like, when he was like, I don't know who my dad is, but my mom said that I was a gift from the sea. And I'm like, but she has this really good gay best friend.
I guess I was like hung up on like, is he not bi? Like, are they going to have a gay character be like, also I fathered a son? But I guess that is a trope. That is totally a thing. Maybe he's not even, I mean, no, he's probably gay. He's a drag queen, but you can be a drag queen and be anyone,
Yeah.
You can be a big old dad and be a drag queen. I mean,
So
a biological dad. Any of us could be a dad, but.
So they're taken to the last outpost of this town where everything is quarantined.
Yes, where the scientists are running the show, who are potentially
Yes.
really just wanting to do research. And from the beginning, we've been like, did they let this pandemic spread? Like, are they behind this? What's the deal?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And everything, all hell breaks loose. The kids break out because they realize that they're about to get sent to the ship and no one returns from the ship. And hilarity ensues. But basically, we end with they get attacked by a giant monster
Bridezilla.
made of multiple bodies that have all come together to create this giant thing of limbs.
She has a name.
And
She has a name, Joseph. She has a name.
Bridezilla. Yes.
Bridezilla. I just love it. It's like the end of
Named
the
after
Key and
the
Peele sketch where, they bring it one step too far in every Key and Peele sketch, like the OGs. It's like
named after the
from
presence of poor Dakota. Because
exactly
poor
from
Dakota
Poor
is there.
Dakota, it builds to Bridezilla.
So funny.
Yeah, so they're attacked by Bridezilla. They ultimately get this final chance to go back to Singing House, the B&B, and they say, and Ollie gets to say goodbye to his mom.
And this is really the crux of the end of the book.
And that's the part where I cried, by the way. I always
Yes.
cry at books. I cried at this. It was so sweet.
It was so, I feel like for their relationship, what I thought was interesting was you get the mom at the beginning and then you get the mom at the end, and she's absent the entire rest of the book.
Yeah.
She's not involved in any way, shape, or form. So he's going through this radical emotional transformation during the span of the book, and then finds her again at the end, where he is now effectively a different person. So you get the duality of this moment where the last time he sees her is at the piano, and then the next time they see each other is weeks later
at the piano.
After this, all of this other stuff has happened at the piano.
Yeah.
And the mirroring of those moments I thought was really beautiful, where they had this huge fight, but then they come together at the end. And he makes, as opposed to feeling as though he's being torn up, like he's tearing himself away from her because of the way that she's acting, he makes this decision to move on. He's come to terms with everything that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, which it's kind of a book about grief. It starts with my mom almost died of cancer, but I'm still grieving. What's the deal? And it ends with her ultimately dying. There's two big reveals. She had cancer the whole time. That's why she was acting so weird. She just wanted to bring him home and make him reunite with his best friends. Oh, I'm getting shivers just thinking it. It's so cute. And she was like, that's what all the like weird toxic positivity act was. And that's very in line with her as a character. She's this like, kind of like was like the single mom who kind of raised him like a Lorelai Gilmore, and she wasn't able to be a parent to him through this process of saying goodbye. And at the end, she's able to. And at the end, he is able to tell her like, I'm not okay, and cry on her shoulder without apologizing for it. And let me say, this guy, like, what I love about Ryan La Sala is he writes these plot-driven books that are just like, the plot twists are ruthless and absurd, but he knows how to take characters on an arc. And it's so graceful and clean. The way at the beginning, you're like, I know that he just needs to grieve with his mom, but he doesn't know that. He just knows he's pissed at her and they've disconnected. And at the end, they both realize that, and they have this moment where they get to like reconnect and say farewell. And she kind of takes the responsibility as the adult and is like, I didn't want to tell you, but that's the truth. I have cancer and I'm dying from cancer. And the other reveal is the reason she's still able to talk and have this farewell is because the coral cannot take over a sick person. It needs a healthy body. So that's why people on this island who have these like horrible secondary health concerns because of the toxic sludge that was spilled there by the nefarious scientists, they are somehow resistant to the plague because the coral needs a healthy body. So it's like her sickness saves her in a way. It's like there's a lot of loops and loops of like logic there.
Yeah.
Or I think thematic logic.
To your point about the twists, and there's one more twist, and we can talk about it briefly. We're running a little long, and I don't want to have this be too crazy an episode. But what I think is really interesting about the way that Ryan La Sala is writing this book is so often I feel as though the twists are the character development. But I think with this book, the twists are happening irrespective of the character development. And the characters are developing in response to the twists, which I think mirrors the way that we as humans experience life.
I think that's the definition of a plot-driven book. And I think when you talk about like with like literary people, plot-driven is kind of like looked down upon. But like that is true. Life does happen that way. A lot of times when we're doing our best or perhaps our very worst, our very decisions and our evolution like drives everything that's happening to us. But a lot of the time we're just vibing, like not changing that much and doing the best we can, and we react. And there can be a plot-driven book with incredible characters that go on beautifully done arcs. But the fact is the book isn't about their decisions like dooming them or saving them or like going through a part of their lives where they're like working, doing the inner work. It's about the plot. That's like what drives it. And it's a plot-driven book with fabulous character development.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
We do talk about it a lot with writing, is you want the plot to be driven by the decisions that your characters make, but sometimes that is not how life works.
Yeah, a hot take. I don't need that. I love genre. I love plot driven, and this is like my, Roman Empire of like a book among many others, but this is a good example where it's like characters.
We have always loved genre fiction, and I think that that's part of it. Like, even as kids, I don't think either of us were like literary fans. Like,
which is funny. Like, was anybody? But some people graduate and they're like, I'm sick of those Baudelaire orphans being sent to weird guardians with loopy names. I want to read about a bunch of character-driven stuff. Good for them. But we never grew out of it. Good for us.
No. We're still children at heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think what's interesting about that when we're looking at the publishing world right now is that's what's selling.
Character-driven?
No. Genre fiction.
Yeah. Well, genre and YA, all back to the YA phenomenon. People like that escapism. People like that goofiness. I mean, it's all about like, people are online, right? Like, very cynically to say it this way, but like our society's becoming less literate. Not less literate like they can't read or write, but like, we're interacting with the written word, the long written word less. And we have other forms of media that now suddenly, like the video, which for many years was like something that you needed a lot of equipment and production to create, is like, can be your blog. So that's how we interact with each other. Like, we just interact with the written word less. So literary fiction is becoming a bit more niche, perhaps, more like a Shakespeare. Like, people will always study it and love it, but gone are the days of the 60s where like you might spend your Sunday reading the hours, like because there's nothing else to do in your house. And you're like, great, this book is literary and I really got into it. Like, these books can compete. And so, then you look at the 80s, the flourishing of fantasy and sci-fi, where literary fiction was still a big deal, but these books were flourishing and they were trash and everyone loved that about them. And now it's like, okay, it's time for them to like pick up some of the stuff that these literary fiction pieces are like not doing as much heavy lifting with anymore because they're not competing, sadly, for people's eyeballs.
Because they don't have the entertainment value. Like, we talk about it a little bit.
I don't want to say they're not entertaining and then be quoted on that, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
I read Celeste Ng's Little Fires Everywhere, and I read that recently, and I was like, it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful story about the intersectionality of, family dynamic and community dynamic, and the way that those two things have to interplay. And it was wonderfully crafted. I really enjoyed reading it. I did not enjoy reading it as much as fantasy or sci-fi or horror.
Yeah.
Because it's every once in a while.
It was an easy read. It was a wonderful read. But obviously it's not like, you're not going to be like staying up till midnight. Like, oh my God, is he dead? Like, it's not quite the same.
It's the difference between, prestige drama and Game of Thrones. Both of those things can be great, but Game of Thrones is going to keep me more entertained.
Yeah. We need to talk about the end of the book. We need to talk about our
very
theories.
Quickly.
Stat.
So
who is
the twist at the end?
Okay, the twist at the end is
the guy, Ollie's not Ollie.
Yes, the guy who was being interviewed
Bash.
in this final timeline of the interview is not Ollie. It's Bash pretending to be Ollie because Ollie has become a weeper. But then they switch places. We don't know where Ollie is. Amazing, so fun, such a fun twist. The way it's like laid out, and like Bash has been secretly passing notes to Elisa via the interviews, and they explain how. And you're just like, God, I love these characters. Like, kids, give me kids taking on the adults. This is like 80s
sassy children.
But then at the end, Queerant 2, this interviewer who we know nothing about, who was kind of like getting a bit suspicious and like questioning authority and like getting more on the kids' side, as Bash, who we thought was Ollie the whole time, tells them this story. Queerant 2 is kind of on their side at the end, and Bash says, I knew you would go like dig up the diary that we hid under the tree because you're a sud now. And this person is like kind of part of the gang. Who is Queerant 2? Joseph, I think I have a theory. Queerant 2 is somebody that either we've met or somebody who's important. I just feel like there's this huge opportunity for a reveal here of a character who has been on page without being on page. And I have this conspiracy theory that it's going to be somebody that fits in somehow.
I think it would be a missed opportunity for it to not be somebody that's connected. What I struggle with is that the timeline of the book is so short that I don't know who that could be, because everybody who's introduced on page 1 is locked on the island.
Yes.
So it
It
would have
can't
to
be.
be somebody that we haven't met, but somebody who is relevant to the group as a whole. Because my
And
first thought was maybe it's the mom, but
yes,
that's literally not possible.
we're talking about Elisa's mom, right?
Elisa's mom.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that too, but it has to be not only somebody we haven't met, but somebody who Imogen Pfaff hasn't met. Unless he
And somebody
pulls
who
a
Bash
savage
hasn't met.
costume subplot and it's just like, she's a
Yeah.
disguised bitch. Mic
Because it
drop.
also has to be somebody who wouldn't know the difference between Bash and Ollie. And I know that he set this up as
Damn,
like,
another reason why it can't be the mom. No way.
yes. They
So
set it up as being that they're similar enough, but that was also when they were kids. It's kind of set up now that Ollie is sort of like thin and wiry, and Bash is
Bash is
more
hot.
muscular.
Yeah, Bash
Yeah,
is
Bash
like
does sit-ups for fun.
exactly.
So it can't be the mom, and it can't be somebody who is from the island, but I think that there needs to be some sort of a connection there. I do.
Yeah. I went through a lot of like wishful thinking of really ridiculous reveals it could be. Like I was like, is it Sam? Then I was like, that makes no sense. He was
No
on the island
sense.
the whole time. He's in
Yeah.
high school, or perhaps
Yeah.
as a freshman in college at the most. But even if it's
Yeah.
a new character, I'm excited for them to get a voice and a face in the second book. You know what could easily happen is that it'll be somebody in the second book that he introduces without telling us it's that person. And then halfway through, it'll be like, oh shit, that was Queerant too. But it will be a new
Yeah.
character from the get-go. But
Interesting.
But the way it gets woven back in, it won't be like, page 1, this is what Queerant 2 is now up to. And by the way, their name is Lisa. You know, it'll be
Yeah.
like that person is introduced and we don't know how they're related to the found documents of the first book for a while.
Yeah.
I do hope that it's like a completely unhinged connection where we can just like have our jaw hit the floor. I would love that.
I am really excited for book 2. Ryan, I know
so
you're
excited.
still watching. I know you're out there. And come to the Bay Area, and we will go and we will hang out, and it's going to be great. So
Yes.
do your book tour, and I will
Come
find
to
you.
our shore.
Come.
We know
Come to the Bay
you're out
Area.
there in the deep blue. That was my fish voice.
We have so many wonderful independent bookstores that you could set up shop at.
That's true.
And
we have gay
so
people.
Yeah, we do.
We do have gay people.
So yeah, that was The Dead of Summer. Huge book. Not huge like size.
Literally
like, so
not
much
even long,
happens
but
in it.
so much to talk about. I freaking love it.
So
I'm
much
glad
to
you
talk
liked
about.
my recommendation. I'm tickled pink.
It was great.
Tickled very
was
pink,
great.
in fact, if not rainbow.
So we're going to
nose.
wrap up here real quick. We have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. One is our affiliate links are still available in the bio below. Support the Malibu Village bookstore, which is still recovering from the Palisades fire. They have a GoFundMe set up. So any purchases for the month of July are going to go toward a portion of those proceeds are going to go towards the Malibu Village bookstore, including our August pick next to me, which is the Tuxedo Society.
What's that?
It's gay James Bond.
Look at mic drop. Take my money.
So
take my absolute money.
It's
I'm
a
obsessed.
queer mystery, but it's also a comedy. It's this guy who gets introduced to like a secret society of gay, like secret agents.
Did you ever watch Q-Force on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
It's like that, but it's going to be even better. And by even
Hopefully
better, I mean
it's
better.
like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
Did you like
raunchy as
Q-Force?
shit.
I
Yes, of
loved
course I did.
Q-Force. Everyone hated it, like in the reviews, but I loved it.
Yeah, because those reviewers weren't gay. So yeah, the Tuxedo Society, which is a recent release, is going to be available in our bookshop.org affiliate link. So you can
Yes,
pick it up
indeed.
there. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. So that episode's going to come out on August 4th. Yes, August 4th, the first Tuesday of the month. And it's going to be a good time. So, make sure you subscribe to follow along, and we'll see you on the 4th.
Make yourself a martini, shaken, not stirred.
Well,
smash that like button. I've always wanted to say that.
Smash it. Yeah,
yes,
and share with your friends.
Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Facebook if you feel so inclined.
Yeah, if you're a boomer, follow us on Facebook and leave us hate mail. Thanks.
And leave us hate mail.
We can't wait.
The best hate comment will be read on the next podcast.
Yes,
so make sure you leave.
Yes. And if you say you should try drowning, then you copied the first hater and you will be thrown off a cliff.
So fun.
That is the punishment for copying the previous haters. All right.
See you later.